Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Account-Based Engagement Summit. Special thanks to Chat Funnels for having me speak today. My name is Rick Tolman. I'm the Vice President of Global Demand. And today I'd love to share with you some insights around how we at Salesforce have developed and grown our account-based marketing strategy for well over a decade now. And one of the wonderful things about Salesforce and the broader Ohana, which include our acquisitions such as Slack, MuleSoft, and Tableau, is that we've built this wonderfully community and engagement around how to do best practices around B2B demand generation. And one of those core pillars, including account-based marketing, where we've taken those lessons learned and how we've cut our teeth over the many years to be able to share those broader insights, especially to those within the marketing sphere and especially to our customers. And so as I begin this presentation and share with you some of those lessons learned that we've developed over the many years and across our broader portfolio, I'd also encourage any and all that are customers or clients of Salesforce to engage with us, to reach out to your rep and have them engage with us, as we love sharing best practices around what we're producing, what we've learned internally as a company, but also we're good stewards of being able to bring in our clients and our partners to be able to really help strategize and build effective marketing programs and bring together a think tank of people to be able to solve these problems that all of our companies are facing together. That more so than account-based marketing, which has been a key buzz term for many years and is just finally getting to critical mass. One of the great things that we love too as Salesforce as well is being able to say, like, how do we actually take and go address something with such scale and with such a unique ability to have an impact across the company? And account-based marketing for us, it has reached that critical mass. You know, we've talked about it for years as marketing leaders. What is ABM? Is it important? We've recently done an insight reports where we do annually, we pull together B2B marketers and we generate a state of marketing report that includes information such as this, that we've, as last year, we're showing now a significant increase where roughly, 92% of B2B marketers have an ABM strategy. B2B customers now expect that same type of empathy and engagement as their B2C counterparts. While data and AI are helping B2B marketers accomplish this through ABM, marketers, we have to use ABM to build multiple highly personalized campaigns to engage, close, and grow account relationships over time. And we have to do it at the speed the prospect requires as well. While the majority of B2B marketers have an ABM program, however, ABM programs are still relatively new phenomenon. Even though, again, we've been talking about this for years amongst marketing teams and organizations, still 64% of ABM programs were started within the past 5 years, but have quickly grown more sophisticated, with roughly 68% of ABM programs now finally using automation. However, despite all of this, we can see now that 19% of B2B marketers are confident in their actual ability to execute. So that's still a low amount. Why only 19%? Some marketers are worried about data quality. They're confused by the tech landscape. Obviously, as a lot of us will see here and are participating in this Account Engagement Summit today, you'll learn about the technology landscape and the many partners that are out there as well. There are thousands of tools out there. And so finally, marketers are worried about how sales alignments with new technologies and tools, and ultimately will that execution work across multiple departments. At the end of the day, though, every CMO still gets hit up and is asked to think about ABM because their CEOs are asking them, their CROs are asking them, their sales leaders are saying, what's going to drive hyper-personalized experience for our target accounts? So what makes ABM so popular? That's one of the key elements that we'll discuss here next. Again, no big surprises here. The marketers are having to move from broad-based marketing to account-based marketing so they can focus on accounts that are most likely to close, particularly those companies that are at various phases of growth, whether you're pre-IPO, hyper-growth, or post-IPO or acquisition. The reality is you have to go from that scale of being able to target a broad-based approach first, but then start to get into more nuanced and very strategic accounts. And the answer is simple for most ABM strategies is that how do you land the accounts that are most important to your business and increase the lifetime value of our customer relationships? So account-based marketing is that B2B marketing program and strategy that focuses on specific customers or accounts instead of the single broad-based campaign with wide audience. ABM by nature should be used to engage multiple highly personalized campaigns across engaged accounts with an individualized approach. B2B marketers have been shifting broadly from that broad-based marketing approach to ABM for a number of years. And the reality is, and the answer for why is very clear. Broad-based marketing is an approach where we're looking to kind of cast a wide net, attract, win, and keep a broad base of potential clients. It's a great strategy, but has limitations. 44% of our customers surveyed said that one of their top challenges is generating inbound demand that converts to pipeline and revenue. With the broad-based marketing, most of those accounts that you target don't close because they generally don't have the highest propensity to buy. They're very early in their buying stage as well. But with account-based marketing, it solves that challenge by narrowing the scope of accounts marketers target by focusing on those accounts that are most likely to close. Essentially, that ABM, the panacea or the intent that it's trying to cure is really taking focus and focusing on specific key accounts. When marketing and sales and service can align with the right hand of the piano is playing in the same measure as the left hand of the piano, when they can focus their budgets and efforts on the right accounts from the start, we're significantly more likely to convert at each stage of the sales cycle and ultimately to close. However, it's not that easy to identify which accounts to target. This is one of the key issues that's brought up by our customers and clients regularly is not all accounts are created equal, and knowing which accounts are most likely to purchase our product or service isn't necessarily intuitive. So usually B2B marketers, we have to manually analyze the data to understand the propensity of their customer profile to convert, or you have a handshake agreement between sales where sales identifies those high likely accounts as well. So what we're looking at here is to say delivering these account-specific content offers, that is where the challenge is, right? It's because B2B marketers are trying to engage multiple stakeholders within each target account across many channels. In the last few years, the number of stakeholders in the buying center, particularly for B2B SaaS, has increased significantly. It's gone from an average of roughly less than 5 in 2014 to 7 in 2016, which is a 40% increase in 3 years. Fast forward to this year, and we're looking between almost 8 to 10. In some scenarios, the number of stakeholders involved in the decision becomes even larger. When firms start to take on a digital transformation initiative as well, the number of team members expands from the typical 6 or 7 to a dozen or more now. The challenge with this is that most B2B marketing databases only include 2 or 3 of these key stakeholders as context. This means that with a buying group of 12, for instance, B2B marketers can miss as much as 80% of the buying center. And that's why some stakeholders are left out in the dark. That's why we have, even in this image, you'll see some of the gray stakeholders here that are left out. On top of this, key account stakeholders engage with B2B companies across multiple channels, which makes it incredibly challenging to send the right message at the right time. This results in an impersonal experience that often creates that disjointed, janky feeling where leads to underwhelming buyer experience. Where stakeholders are bombarded with too many inconsistent messages. And as a marketer, that's the last thing we want to do, because we want stakeholders not to unsubscribe, but to ultimately have a relevant and hyper-personalized experience where they buy. At the end of the day, without the right tools, 80%, roughly 80% or plus of marketers struggle to personalize every touch point in the customer journey. Now, despite these challenges, companies who can successfully implement ABM across the entire ecosystem see really impressive results. So when well done, according to the data that we pulled as well, account-based marketing increases pipeline quality and revenue significantly. On the average, 77% of ABM users achieve 10% or greater ROI. 45% of ABM users see at least 2x ROI compared with other marketing methods. And why are companies seeing such impressive results with ABM? You'll see here, let me walk you through an example. On the left-hand side, you can see kind of the broad-based marketing approach where you're starting out with 100,000 accounts, but end up only with 940 customers. That's because the average industry conversion rate of the broad-based marketing programs is less than 2.5%. On the right hand, however, you can see that account-based marketing speeds up the sales cycle and only requires a quarter of the leads to begin with, roughly 25,000 in this scenario. This works because the ABM conversion rates are almost 5x times as good as broad-based conversion rates. You actually start with less leads, but you end up with more customers. This is one of the many critical funnel point optimizations. Is less doesn't necessarily mean less at the end. Less can actually be more when it's higher quality, better propensity to convert. This is just one of the many compelling reasons why B2B marketers are so interested in ABM, is that we can actually do significantly more with a hyper-focused amount of accounts. However, the term account-based marketing, to a large degree, though, is a misnomer to an extent. Even though we use it, it's not necessarily the responsibility of solely the marketing team. And sales, service, tools, process all have a role in that. But unfortunately, that landscape is a bit fragmented. Even when we can identify the right accounts and build engaging campaigns at the account level, you can't truly power an ABM strategy when marketing, sales, and services and technology are all fragmented across that. Today, most of these teams work with different data sets. The tools and processes, especially the analytics as well, are all centralized, or they're centralized in their own worlds, but they're decentralized from the broader group. So this presents a massive problem, especially when you're trying to drive ABM at scale. On the sales side, you're working with a lot of leads. Only a small percentage of them turn into revenue-generating customers, less than 1% by average. Marketing, however, is leveraging a fragmented toolkit, ends up working in silos to identify those key accounts, build account-specific content, optimize strategy without being fully connected to the sales side of the business, let alone fully connected to all the different tools just within your average MarTech stack, which for B2B companies can range between anywhere from 30 to 300 pieces of technology there. On the marketing side, we're also sending marketing qualified leads and sales, saying that 3 out of 4 are not qualified or sales ready. So the same disconnect happens even for the service teams, especially when we're working with customers that are either onboarding or expanding. Ultimately, all 3 of these teams, as we've leveraged here at Salesforce, they need to align. They're addressing integration challenges, data sync issues, and we also a fragmentation of multiple tools. It's difficult to have these teams collaborating when the working on is fragmented. This lack of coordination results in some bad statistics that are well known. All these challenges also suggest there's an incredible opportunity for sales, marketing, and service to work together within a concerted view, whether that's a single platform view or in a process view, to blaze an ABM strategy and scale with the rest of the organization. So in the midst of this, and more B2B marketers seeking ABM strategies, how can we ensure that they are successful? And so we often use a great tool here at Salesforce called the value map to help us align our customers' objectives to the business impact. When it comes to ABM, we find that there are 3 main business objectives that our customers focus on. On the left, you'll see there, understanding their buyers, aligning marketing and sales, and growing account relationships. And does this ultimately align with your ABM goals at your company? So the great thing is you can see we have not only the high level objectives, but we're looking at now let's articulate that in terms of challenges. If trying to understand our buyers' needs are the challenges they're experiencing, are these disconnected processes, data fragmentation, systems, and data silos as well. Ultimately, you can progress down and see that most of these will capture a lot of the frustrations that marketers and sales will be feeling around ABM, but then taking those challenges and saying, okay, now what are the existing capabilities and competencies do we have to be able to either map to this and create better efficiencies of scale, or are these gaps that we can go solve for? Such as a unique capability for understanding our buyers would be to have a unified customer profile available and agreed upon and aligned upon between marketing, sales, and service. Think of this as your ideal customer profile that's been codified and brings these teams together around that. Luckily, one more column to the right, the far right, is also now what do we expect the business impact to be here? Being able to kind of set down and establish this value map not only quantifies, it's very much an objective strategy tactics flow, where it's the ready, aim, fire. What are we trying to accomplish? What are the challenges that we're facing here? What's the capabilities that we can either leverage or that this would create? And then ultimately what the business impact is going to be. And some of these in more nuanced levels, I'll jump into this quickly as well, is obviously these are some high-level learnings that are shared ubiquitously across most ABM programs, but our point of view is that the best strategies are tiered, moving from strategic to scaled ABM. So we believe that best account strategies are tiered where companies can strive to move up from strategic ABM to scaled ABM. So strategic ABM focuses on the needs of B2B sellers' largest and most strategic accounts, but it's very much more one-to-one and sales-led. Scaled ABM, on the other hand, is one-to-many or one-to-few and more marketing-led. And you can see that can be a natural evolution towards one or the other. But this also means that closer integration of marketing into the account teams, enabling marketing to leverage more fully the power of digital channels and customized content to personalize account engagement in ways that amplify the efforts of sales and our marketing teams. And depending on the size of your company, there's typically a traditional lead gen marketer who focuses on reaching a much broader audience to generate leads for sales teams. Many times there's also someone specifically dedicated to ABM who works closely with sales and services teams on the specific targeted accounts while focused on tailoring that messaging. But as we discussed earlier, it's challenging to get started with just ABM there. So where would you start here? What we look at is the first key to success to ABM is 100% creating that organizational alignment. So that's where you have the alignment between marketing, sales, and service teams to win the accounts, retain customers, and grow sales through targeted and personalized omni-channel engagement. That means aligning program goals, account segments, our top strategic or larger mid-sized accounts, and which accounts to target key decision makers and influence, ultimately to then target and build out your approach in terms of channels and tactic mix. Many companies we found approach ABM as marketing led without sufficient support and buy-in from key executives in the sales and service organizations. Because ABM is a shared responsibility, it aligns on goals and approaches via joint account planning based on customer insights. It also requires building integrated infrastructure, data and analytics, and leveraging customer intelligence through seamless, integrated, personalized customer experiences. So this is about taking those traditional silos, bringing down those walls, and making sure this is a baton relay, very interlocked for the sake of being able to look at those teams holistically across the business. Because ABM ultimately provides that end-to-end performance measurement for account-based engagement accounts, i.e. reporting on engagement, pipeline, revenue retention. Most companies we've worked with have had to transform their go-to-market model significantly to be able to expand their ABM programs across their enterprise, which likely requires additional investment in infrastructure and change management. Many of the companies stumble here because they don't recognize that ABM is, at its core, it's a strategy. It's a business strategy that is fundamentally a new way of going to market. Many also underestimate the organizational complexity associated with ABM. Managing this complexity, however, just requires a thoughtful plan and perseverance. When companies can successfully implement these strategies, create that cross-org alignment, they can drive tremendous value for their businesses. So companies that are seeing impressive results when they actually do this targeting. Here we have what we look at in terms of what are they seeing overall clips. The data that we pulled shows increased targeted account engagement by 10 to 15%. We have 90% of the companies that experienced a higher return on investment after implementing the ABM programs. Additionally, we've seen marketing contributed 65% of new logos versus a target of 35% for new cloud business due to ABM initiatives. One of the other great bullet points here and takeaways was increased marketing influence pipeline as well, not just the acquisition side, but roughly 50% growth, zero incremental marketing budgets to be able to now drive influence across all company pipe chain. Likewise, where the CRO and ultimately the CFO care the most, 50% revenue growth at target accounts for the second half of the year for these companies starting last year that accounted for ABM networking and driving the delivery across the companies. Another key stat here, driving 2x improvement on close rate performance, which I know is key for so many on the marketing and the sales side, is no matter what we can do at the top of the funnel, middle and bottom of the funnel, ultimately, how are we able to help engage and drive better close rates by delivering higher quality, better qualified leads at the top of the funnel? And then one of the last things here, I'll say this is, it's with the right technology and again, processes in place, any B2B company, regardless of size or industry, regardless of phase of growth, can implement a successful and a very specific ABM strategy. And what I'll say this is in my final kind of call to action with the teams here is what I'd love to share with you as well is also from Salesforce perspective is we're here to help. We have this engagement team that we love being able to take and learn from this. I wouldn't be a good marketer if I didn't mention as well that Salesforce also has the #1 CRM system that is connected to a broader ecosystem that helps deliver these targeted ABM experiences, both the insights and the data, but also the customer delivery platform, whether that's email, through paid advertising, through our digital marketing programs as well. But my commit to this group here is please connect with me, especially if you're a Salesforce customer. We would love to be able to share more best practices and what our customers are doing. And if you're not, I'd love to be able to show you how we're using drinking our own champagne to say, is being able to build our own internal ABM programs and the ecosystem and the interconnectedness between our teams using Salesforce as well. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Hope you have a great remainder of the summit as well. Would love to share more thoughts and insights with you and have a great week.